Hi everyone, my name is Jenny and welcome back to my creative space. It has been a minute since I've picked up the camera, and to be honest with you, I have tried to film like 2 or 3 different vlogs the past 2 weeks and it just was not hitting. I was in a very not okay space and the mood was very evident on the vlogs. So I kind of scrapped those ideas and I decided to do a bookshelf reorganization and a little bit of a yap session so we can catch up. When I am stressed, one of the things that I do that really helps manage my stress is clean, because it gives me a sense of control of my environment. And what better way to clean, reorganize my shelves, and chat with y'all about the things that I have recently read and what I'm currently reading, and just talk about life, because life has been a lot the past few weeks. So yeah, I think a good refresh would be the way to go. And so I'll show you what my shelves look like currently and the kind of planning and sorting that I have in mind, and we can just go from there. Okay, so this is what my shelves look like right now. So I have my adult fantasy, my YA, some of my broken binding, miscellaneous books. I had a white and black color theme, and then some of the books that are like to be read more currently. And then I have my Rainrod Chronicles all by its lonesome, some classics, my horror, some fantasy romance, and then all of my romance, a few manga, and then the rest of my fantasy romance. If you are wondering where the rest of my hot books are, I have it on the shelf above my desk, and just unfortunately, the size of the shelf did not allow space for Dragon Haven, so it's just all by itself over here. I think once I reorganize, I'm gonna put it with my adult fantasy, but it kind of just bothers me. I'm like, why can't you be with your family? Just all by itself. And also, I'm gonna get rid of the Halloween garland, and I'm gonna keep the pine cones there. But it's November now, and I still have this up. But I really do like how it adds to the space and just the vibes of the bookshelf. So I think I want to do like another video where I DIY some like holiday garland. That will be the plan for a different time. I also potted this monstera that I had propagated like a few weeks ago, and just like love the pot that I have it in. So cute. And I also repotted this that I had in water for probably a year, to be honest. So I want to kind of incorporate some more plants in the shelves, but that's what's going on here. Okay, so now that the pledge part is all completed, when I haven't cleaned my shelves in a while, I like to go in with some beeswax to try to like gloss up, especially because my shelves have this live edge. I feel like it just makes the visual nicer, and also it helps like when dust settles, it's easier to wipe off because it's a bit of a glossy finish. Personally, I don't know if, I'm not a professional woodworker type of gal, so I could just be doing this and it not be actually doing anything beneficial, but who am I to say? I'm just a girl who reads books. And for the type of shelf that I have, I got these floating shelves from World Market. And then the brackets that you see here, I got them off of Amazon because the bracket that they had that matches the shelf for this one, because under they have like these little screw holes that are already made. I didn't like them because they were more like triangular. So like see this black one up here, it had this triangle foundational piece that like obviously allows for more weight, but because I wanted like more space to put like plants and things, I feel like that structural shape really takes away and obstructs the height of my shelf. So I went ahead and just looked for these L-shaped brackets instead of a triangular shaped one. I will make sure to link my shelves in the description if you want to look at it. And the bracket, hopefully they still have it on there. But I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of beeswaxing, and then we will talk about some of the books that I have recently completed. So the book that I finished, I think last week, was Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. It's the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and it follows Teddy and Gus. Gus is the older brother of Emmy from book one, and Teddy is Emmy's best friend. And so it starts, and so like the trope of it is that it's like best friend's brother, but also brother is a single father. And Gus is such a grumpy character. So at the beginning of the book, I was like, I'm not so sure about this. But when I read book one, the sort of like tension between Teddy and Gus, and I just thought, these two need to kiss it out. And Lila Sage said, I hear what the folks are saying, so I'm gonna let them do a little bit more than kissing. So that's what this book is. I really actually thought that Gus was a little too grumpy for my liking in the beginning, and I was like, okay, I need you to lighten up a little bit, because clearly you don't hate Teddy the way that you say that you do. Like, there's a tension, and the tension is there for a reason you are not letting me know. I had my suspicions why there was tension, but he wanted to deny that, and I was like, all right, Mr. Guy. And so basically, Teddy ends up losing her job at the boutique that she works at. And so Emmy thinks, like, the mother of Gus's child is out of state, so they usually co-parent, and he doesn't have that help anymore. And so he's getting really overwhelmed with his responsibility on the ranch. And Emmy has this brilliant idea of being like, Teddy, we know Teddy, and your daughter knows Teddy, and so the best person to help you take care of your kid while you are busy doing the stuff on the ranch is to have Teddy basically nanny your child during the summer. I really enjoyed Teddy's arc because she is this woman in her like later 20s where she feels like her best friend is on a completely different trajectory of her life. Her relationship with her partner is becoming more, and she feels like the sort of dynamic between her and Teddy is not the same. Like, she used to be Teddy's person and Teddy used to be her person, where when anything came up, they relied on each other. And unfortunately, that's not the case anymore because Emmy has this life partner, and Teddy's like, I'm single, I kind of lost my job and I'm not sure where I'm going with my life. And she feels kind of like second rate to everybody. And she feels overwhelmed because she is the sole caretaker of her father, who isn't like fully in his best stage of health. She's basically in this unsure space of her life, and you know, getting to be on the ranch and like be with a young child and getting to have this moment in time where she can also focus on the things of like, what does she really want, was such a great journey to watch alongside her like falling in love with Gus. And also getting to see Gus like being this man who holds a lot of burden on himself and slowly coming to terms with relying on other people. And like relying on other people doesn't mean that you lack something. It's just like having support is so necessary in life. But yeah, seeing that on page is just so nice. And I think that Lila Sage has such a good pacing in her stories. They are quite short for a romance, or at least the recent romances that I've read. She has like quite a quick pace with it. I think her, because I read this on audiobook, so audiobook is around maybe 7 hours, 8 or 7 hours, maybe less than that, to be honest. Especially if you're reading at a like higher speed than just one time. And yeah, I think it just is such a great palate cleanser. And the kind of conflict that Lila Sage writes isn't like this unnecessary miscommunication between her characters. And I really enjoy that. I feel like sometimes there's like certain miscommunication, like, oh my gosh, I just feel this way and I'm just not going to tell them. Like, we have communication very easily throughout the story, and it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I just like the length of her books because it's something that you can read as a palate cleanser and finish in a day. The one complaint about that is, though, is that I really like her characters, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I could be in the story for a little bit longer, but I definitely think that the pace that she writes at doesn't leave anything fully to be desired. Like, me wanting it to be longer is just to see more like mundane aspects of the characters' lives. And the next book that I actually just finished last night was Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis. This book I've had on hold for several months at my library, and I guess everybody in my county wanted to read this book. I put on a hold with the audio and also the ebook, and both of them had several month wait, and finally I got the audiobook, which I'm honestly glad I got that format because Angela Davis actually narrates the audiobook. It's quite a quick one. I think the audiobook clocks in around 6 hours, and the formatting of the book is like the first 3 chapters is like interview style. So, you know, you get the prompt question and then what Angela Davis's thoughts are on that. And like the last 4 chapters are speeches that Angela Davis has done at various activism events that she's been invited to. And I really enjoyed the, I don't know if enjoyed is the right word, because we're talking about injustice not only in the United States but globally. What I really think made this book so accessible is that Angela Davis brings in events within the United States history with like police brutality, discrimination, those things, and then she'll bring in examples of international struggles. She brings up Palestine, obviously, that's on the title of the book, and she brings in cases of apartheid in South Africa and also police brutality cases in European countries. And honestly, it was just very eye-opening to have her talk about cases within the even United States history that we aren't given full detail of, like within our own curriculum in school. And she cites a lot of sources that you as the reader can go out and like look at. And so I definitely want to get a copy of the book. My friend Gabby, actually, because I told her I was reading this, and she said that the publisher has a free ebook copy of this title, so I will make sure to link that down below if you're interested in reading it. I definitely want to probably upload it on my iPad so that I'm able to go ahead and annotate and look at the sources that she's notated within her speeches to do further research. And the one thing I appreciate is that even if you are familiar with these cases that she speaks on, she just adds so much more than what we learn in school. And, like on history books, it's like a paragraph or two, but it just is so dry and like so distant from the actual human experience. Whereas like Angela Davis really brings these issues to the forefront, and there is a lot of humanity in these stories that she brings up. And it's not one of those things where we're talking about injustice and you feel hopeless. There are action items that she brings about in her discussion of injustice that we see in our current world, and how she puts light to like the things that we are doing right in order to go towards equality. But yeah, I think within the 6 hours of that audiobook, I think I gained a lot of knowledge and information and insight on where to go further in my research and like just personal learning. And yeah, I'm interested in picking up other Angela Davis reads. I hope that she narrates the other books that she's written, because I just really like her narration style, and obviously hearing these thoughts and opinions from the person who has wrote and experienced these things just elevates the entire experience altogether. Okay, so the beeswax is all on the shells. You can see how glossy it is. So I'm gonna let this sit and kind of absorb into the wood before I do like my final wipe off with a microfiber cloth. So it's not like super tacky or whatever, but it's good to just let it like sit there for a while and moisturize. So once that's done and I wipe it off, we're probably going to get into actually replacing the books on the shelves. So I'm gonna take a break, eat a snack, and I'll come back. Alrighty, we are back from our break and ready to stack the shelves. I think the plan here is to do the side pieces first and then go for like the bigger section of my bookshelf. I think I'm going to do my broken binding editions up here, fan row here, and then YA down here. I think this bottom shelf I'm leaving like basically the same as you had seen it in the prior clip. But yeah, let's start stacking these books, and I think I'll do decor afterwards, and we can just chat about anything. Honestly, the last few clips of me updating you about the last books that I read, I was just talking all over the place. Honestly, I thought that being able to clean and chat at the same time would be easy for me. Clearly, I'm struggling because I'm doing like 3 things at once: cleaning, chatting, and filming. So my brain is a little frazzled. So do forgive me if I'm not making any sense, but I'm going to put you on my tripod and we will get to stacking these books. Okay, my tripod is tall enough, thankfully, but I am very petite, so when I'm in frame, you might just see the top of my head. So do forgive me. I'm gonna put my Scott Lynch ones up in the corner. Most of the Broken Binding series that I have, I'm thinking of just starting them next year, come 2025. Since there's only like a month and a half left of 2024, I'm kind of like, let's not pressure ourselves too much into like finishing or starting a new series. But these are stunning additions, and I'm honestly excited to get into them. The series that I'm really anticipating is the Ken Liu Grace of Kings. I'll show you. They have these really cool, like, continuous spines. Let me stack the other 2 up so you can see. not spines, sprayed edges. But it has like this whole scene. One of my friends, this is one of her favorite series, so I do hope I enjoy Brace of Kings. And also, I heard that there's a very interesting female lead character in here, and I do love a like intelligent, wicked woman, and apparently this series has one. I think what would be nice is if I face out the Dragonborn chair, since I really do like the cover of this one. Let me take a step. Let me take a step back and look. Stunning. Okay, that's good. Okay, next let's do my fan row shelf. And let's talk about the books that I'm currently reading at the moment. I'm reading Flawless by Elsie Silver, and because I was really enjoying Rebel Blue Ranch, a lot of my friends actually read the Elsie Silver Chestnut Spring series, and they highly suggested that I pick it up and read it. A lot of them really love the Heartless, which I think is the second book, the single dad trope book. But because I've never read Elsie Silver before, I wanted to just start with the first book in that series. I know that there's a series prior to Flawless, but I'm just going to start at the beginning of Chestnut Springs. So basically, Chestnut Springs, or the first book in Chestnut Springs, Flawless, follows a really famous and prominent bull rider in the industry, and he gets into this PR mess where he is like filming a commercial, and then off screen he thinks like the cameras have stopped rolling, and then he's like, oh, I hate milk, but like the dairy producers in the city that he lives in are like a huge sponsor of his bull riding, and so he ends up being recorded saying that he hates milk and he thinks it's disgusting, and then he loses his sponsorship. And so his PR manager is like, my daughter's gonna babysit you and follow you around to make sure you're not doing anything stupid. And that's the setup. And, you know, personally, I feel pretty neutral about milk. Like, I think there's time and place for milk. But for this to be the entire setup or conflict of the book, I think is so silly. Like, I read the first chapter and was like, are we serious? And yes, we were very, very serious. And the thing is when I read the first chapter of Flawless, gosh, I cannot get the freaking titles of this book series right. It's like Flawless, Heartless, Powerless, Hopeless, something else less, and I just get them all confused. But Flawless, the first one, when I read the first chapter, I was like, milk? A milk scandal? But you know, I picked up Heartless, Jesus. I picked up Flawless to have a silly, goofy time, and with the setup that unserious, I don't think I couldn't have a silly time. So, you know, you get what you ask for, basically. I am going to do my YA shelf. Grabbing books from the side over here. Classics. Hunger Games. This was a series I was incredibly obsessed with in high school. But yeah, Flawless. It's thus far pretty fun. I'm reading it before bed, like to wind down, and like it's your run-of-the-mill contemporary cowboy yeehaw moment. I do like Summer, and like I haven't gotten to know too much of her character, but it's interesting their dynamic right now. Rhett really, or Rhett? It's Rhett. I think it's Rhett. I don't know why I said Rhett. Rhett kind of hates her because he's like, I'm a grown ass man. Why am I being babysat? And why is it such a big deal? I think this is so ridiculous. And she's like, I'm new to my firm, and my father is making me do this ridiculous thing. So here I am. And I'm just here for the ride kind of vibes. And I will say that the setup of this book is taking a little bit longer, but given Rebel Blue Ranch, most of their books are like kind of reaching 300, maybe not fully 300. I don't have the physical book, so I don't really know. But with Flawless, it is originally a KU read, and I do notice that KU books tend to be longer because I think authors get paid by like pages read or something like that. So it definitely is a longer romance read. But if you enjoy like getting to be with the characters for longer, by all means. I do like Liz Tomford, so like the kind of slower vibes of this doesn't really bother me, and it's definitely a good read before bed because I can just like take my time, read 2 chapters a night kind of vibes. The next book that I'm stacking is my Ember in the Ashes. I got the UK version. This actually was a series that got me back into reading. Was it in 2021? I had read, what was it, Song of Achilles in 2021, and I got it off of Scribd, like a free trial on Scribd, and I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying reading. Let's see what the vibes are. I don't understand why Ember in the Ashes was the next book that targeted my feed, because Ember in the Ashes and Song of Achilles are like on 2 different marks. Song of Achilles is a mythological retelling, and it's queer. And Ember in the Ashes is a YA fantasy. There are queer characters in this series, but like they're not the forefront, and it's not based off of like myth or anything. But you know, who am I to question the algorithm when I found my favorite series? And the book I'm currently reading in tandem with Flawless is Air by Sabathir. I know that there's questions about whether or not you should read the quartet before reading Air, and in my unprofessional opinion, and maybe my professional opinion because this is my favorite series, I don't think you have to read the Ember Quartet if you're not interested in reading the Ember Quartet. But if you want to read the Ember Quartet, definitely read it before Air because it is within the same world. And the reason why I don't think you need to read the quartet before reading Air if you're not interested in it is because like within the second chapter or so, it kind of lays out the basic conclusion of the series. So if you didn't want to read 4 books prior to that, you didn't have to, because in Air, it's like post this world, and it's like, oh, this, and this happened within like a paragraph, and then you go on about your life. So if you weren't interested in the Ember Quartet, you don't have to read it. You can read Air, but I think you should read the Ember Quartet. But I know there's some people who aren't interested in reading 4 books and they'd rather read a duology. So I think you can go ahead and read Air without reading Ember. But you know, why not read the quartet if you're already interested in Saba? So that's the first stack. Let me go get the other books on this shelf over here. Okay, so I have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Robertson. This one, the reason why I read it was also because of Scribd, and they were like, how was Moving Castle? How was Moving Castle? And one thing about me is, you compare something to How was Moving Castle, I am running. The next one is the Aurelian Cycle. This one was fun, and I like the character work in this, and it's dragons, so if you're a dragon gal, do check it out. I really enjoyed this one. And then, you know, the classic Six of Crows duology. And then I have Muse of Nightmares. I have Strange the Dreamer on my to be read, so that's why they're separated at the moment. Okay, we've got Divine Rivals. That one's there. And then my Holly Black trilogy. I started Cruel Prince at the beginning of the year, and then I finished Assassin's Fate and decided I didn't want to read fantasy ever again. So I still have 2 more books in this series that I need to complete. And then speaking of Howl, this is the new cover that they had. I don't know if this is specifically UK or if it's also in the US that they have this cover. I mean, I got this from Blackwell's, so it has like the UK HarperCollins. But yeah, I do think that this is such a beautiful cover. I just love when fantasy has bright colors on there. Okay, so that's the YA shelf, fan row, broken binding. The next thing I'm gonna do is probably stack the top shelf here. And I'm probably gonna do miscellaneous books on that top shelf and then like bookend it with the few classics I own. Plan here, I think because I have fan row, I can do fantasy. Or not fantasy. Because I have fan row, I can do my romance. And then I'll do like my want to read soon over here. And then bottom here will just be my adult fantasy again. Let's go grab another stack of books. So some of these. So this one, Open Water, I read in 2022. I've been doing this thing where like I notate, if you can see, the year that I read it and like the date and everything. And this one has just really stuck with me. I feel like if you like Ocean Vuong, you might like this one. He has a very lyrical way of writing. I just enjoyed the discussion of masculinity and just what it is like as a Black man in the United Kingdom. If you are somebody who enjoys the audiobook narrated by the author, I am pretty sure Caleb narrates this one. Another book that I wanted to highlight is The Eyes Are the Best Part. This is probably one of my favorite horrors that I've read this year. And also it's nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards twice. This is in the horror and also in the debut. And honestly, if you're watching this, you don't read horror, just vote for this because it deserves all the flowers. But also, if you have KU, I'm pretty sure this is available on KU as well, so do check it out. And I just really like how grotesque this cover is, and I love the ombre, the slight ombre effect. And I also like that the spine has that eyeball on there. Ooh, another book. This one wasn't totally my favorite, but this one I have a lot of good memories with because I was invited to discuss this book with Kayla and Stephanie for Kayla's Literary Dead book club, and it was just so fun. I'd never done anything like that. It was very nerve-wracking, but it was something that I wanted to challenge myself in doing, and it was such a nice discussion. We all collectively probably gave it like a 3-ish rating, but this is a book that I'm keeping specifically for the sake of nostalgia. And then my last bucket is this over. And speaking of Ocean Vuong, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I have the UK cover. Also the US cover, I enjoyed that as well, but I did like the coloring on this one a little bit better. And this one just means so much to me. Getting back into reading and then reading from a Vietnamese author and also a queer Vietnamese author. Ocean Vuong, this was his first novel, and prior to that he had Night Sky with Exit Wounds. I think there might be another poetry collection that he had published prior on Earth were briefly gorgeous. I'm not entirely sure, but I know recently he came out with Time as a Mother. And then I think come 2025, his new novel, The Emperor of Gladness, is coming out. And honestly, I'm so excited. Ocean Boom, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, because why would you be watching me organize my bookshelves? Who's to say? But if you're watching this, please give me a copy of your book. Thank you. Okay, first thing we've got is my Magnolia Park Universe books. Do you want to do this vibe? But then I'll put it in order. This one has been like on my radar for a while, but then I am somebody who is very easily influenced. I saw Kayla read it, and I was very surprised that she enjoyed Magnolia Parks. So I was like, well, if Kayla liked Magnolia Parks, maybe I'll like Magnolia Parks. I've read book 1 and 2, and I'm gonna start Long Way Home this week. And it's like one of those ones where it's like just messy rich people energy. And we do delve into other relationships besides like the romantic relationship in here. But it's one of those ones where I'm like, you just have problems because you're rich, really. Like it's the rich people problems. Listening like a fly on the wall and being like, how messy can we really get here? And Jessa Hastings says, I'm gonna make it the messiest you've ever seen. In a time like this, maybe read Magnolia Parks because it brings a lot of levity, and the stress that they put you through is unlike the stress that you're going through currently with the political climate in the United States. So you can have a little ha ha he he and be like, why are you guys so stupid? But not in a my life is in peril kind of way. You know what I mean? Like rich people are making these choices, but it's not affecting me because they're fictional. And you know, what a great way to escape, truly. The next thing, maybe I should do like a little rainbow moment. I think that would be fun. I did have this stack in rainbow form before, but I had it like horizontally instead of vertically. So let's try vertically and see what the vibes are like. I know this is kind of nitpicky, but I really hate that I know Emily Henry is like known as more of a woman's fiction, I guess, is what you would call her books, and rather than romance. So like she's been getting books published in hardback, and I really dislike that it's being published in hardback because like all my other Emily Henrys are paperbacks. So I mean, like, does it really matter that deeply because I can just wait and get them in paperback because I know that she's popular enough that it will get a paperback release? But sometimes I'm impatient and I want to have the book in hand. So I do have my paperback of Happy Place. And I'm just waiting for whenever Funny Story comes out and I can get Funny Story. But the smart thing I should do is read Funny Story and see if I like that, because quite a few people that I know did not like Funny Story. I also didn't really like Book Lovers. And I'm like, should I just separate the family? Because I really didn't like this one. And it's not that I didn't like this one because of the couple. I didn't like this one because of the sister dynamic. As a younger sister, the way Nora was treating her younger sister really irked me. It really did something to me, and not a positive thing. But you know, Emily Henry's, the tabs. Maybe I should reread this so I can feel something. But People We Meet on Vacation, yeah, that's the one. This one I also recently read, The Beautiful Ones. This one, okay, don't hate me, I'm not comparing the skill level of writing at all, but The beautiful ones fell in the line of messy rich people, like how Magnolia Parks is about rich messy people. Um, this one, I don't know if I want to even put it in my romance, but like it is definitely one of Sylvia's more romantic type of books. But I think, yeah, I'll just leave it with romance. I think the cover is stunning. But the main character we are following is like Nina, and she's coming into society. And then her cousin is like, come to the city and you can find a rich husband, right? But his wife, Valerie, I don't like to say this that much about you. And like, girl, she had so many issues, that Valerie woman. She definitely made the story interesting. But like, there are several instances where she's like, you can't be happier than me because I sacrificed so much in my life and I did all these things. Because I suffered, everybody else has to suffer with me. And I'm going to just be the biggest problem in your life so you can run back to your little countryside home and cry and be pathetic because you are not better than me. And I'm like, Valerie, girl, give it a break, relax. And then the ending of this book, I'm like, Valerie, girl. She was so unserious, so unhinged. Like, when it got to the ending, I was like, Sylvia. Valerie is a piece of work. I highly suggest that you read it just for the sake of you getting to know Valerie's bullshit. Like, that lady, she was a piece of work. If I met Valerie, Nina is a much better person than me, because if I had Valerie as my cousin's wife, yeah, yeah, interesting. Also, the reason why I'm like talking more about Valerie is because I didn't really like Hector that much either. I thought he was a piece of work, and the romance is between Hector and Nina. And I was like, I don't really like this man, so I'm not rooting for you guys. But you know, it is what it is. Beach read. This one I also like beach read. My like level is like, people we meet on vacation, beach read and happy place are in the same level. I know not that many people liked Happy Place, but I read it in a time where I really needed to read what was said in this book. So, Happy Place haters, leave me alone. And then I have A Very Secret Society for Irregular Witches. This one healed something in me, truly. This one very much healed me. I needed it in the time I read it. And then Kiss Her Once for Me. The Sapphics. This one I picked up because Erin from Booked It Busy. This was like a book that she 5-star rated. And I'm going to be reading it this holiday season. And I'm excited for it. And then the next part, ooh, I forgot this one. This one is a arc that I won off of a Goodreads giveaway. Has anybody ever won a Goodreads giveaway? I thought they were just like, honestly, bullshit. Like, I didn't think people actually won, but this came in the mail, no prior warning, and I was like, okay, let's get into it. This one is from Nora Witten, and like, I think they're in their late 20s, early 30s, but the main character gets to like inherit her aunt's house, I think, in San Francisco, if she goes on like this matchmaking vacation in Vietnam. So like, she goes to this vacation and she potentially falls in love with like the tour guide guy in Vietnam. And so like, you get to go to all these beautiful places and vacation. I think it's much more of a tropical vibe. I didn't get to this in the summer, but I think if in the wintertime I feel the itch to have something very nice and summery vibes, tropical vibes, I could pick this one up. And apparently it's perfect for readers of Carly Fortune and Abby Jimenez. Never picked up a Carly Fortune book, but I do like Abby Jimenez. And look at that cover. Yes, stunning cover, and a Vietnamese author as well. You know, I love to support Vietnamese authors, and I hope this one is a banger. The next one, I have my stack of Liz Tomford. I think I'll do it like that so it can be bookend. Let's do it in order of the series like this. Liz Tomford is like one of the honestly only sports romance authors I've read thus far. So if you have any like sports romances you really like, I think specifically she has these two that are baseball. So if you have a baseball romance recommendation, do put that in the comments below. I would love to know. My favorite one is The Right Move, basketball romance. Second, Caught Up, single dad, baseball. And then Mile High and Play Along are like in the same level. Mile High is hockey romance, and then Play Along is another baseball romance, and this one follows the younger brother of the man in Caught Up. And it's just a silly, goofy time. This man, very self-confident, love that. Mental health representation in here, he goes to therapy. The Right Move, basketball player, lone wolf kind of vibes. This one, single dad, kind of gruff and tough. This one, man who's very down bad. Like, almost to a pitiful level, down bad. So, do pick your vibes. And then I saw on Liz Tomford's Instagram that she was collaborating with an artist who made a special edition of Caught Up. The quote, ladies and gentlemen. Need I say more? Stunning. You might put it like that. Okay. Cute. I love it. Okay. And then I have I probably should have stacked Heartless under here. Or should I put Heartless there at the end? I don't know. I do have Flawless on my bedside table, but I think for now we'll just do that. Okay, good. These next ones, I did like a whole video of fall reads, so if you wanted to know more in depth about the books that I've picked, by all means go ahead and watch that video. I'll go ahead and link it for you. But this is the current stack. Do I want to leave it like this? Yeah, we'll leave it there, and then I have more room for plants. I also had I Have Never Known Men on my fall TBR. And given the current state, I don't know if I want to read this. I don't know if it would be more wise to read it now or read it in the next 4 years. Like, do I suffer now or do I suffer as, you know, the events of the next 4 years unravels? Do let me know, in your professional opinion, if you've read this book, if you think I should suffer now or if I should suffer later. I do like to hear people's opinions, so I think I'll put it back up there. Or maybe I'll just leave it here. I'll leave it here. I'll be brave. I'll let you let me know if you think I should read this now. If not, I'm gonna message my friend Sarah and be like, Sarah, is now a good time? Or is in the year of 2025 a good time? Do let me know. Sarah, if you're watching this right now, drop a comment. Do let me know. Okay, so now we're gonna do adult fantasy. And that one, I usually kind of just organize it by height, but that will be the vibes, and then we'll put on my decor, and this video will be done. Okay, geez, I am so out of breath, to be honest. I have this stack of my not Grace of Kings, the Rune of Kings. I'm pretty sure that's what it, or is it the Discord of Gods? Oh, that's the title. You know, Gen Lions. I have that one, and then I have my special illustrated editions of the Robin Hobb. I really like the artwork that they have in here. Let me see if I can show you. Like, here's one of Fitz, I'm pretty sure, meeting his grandfather for the first time. I'm gonna show you an art piece from Royal Assassin, which is my favorite in the trilogy. When I saw this artwork online, I think it really did something to me. The Fool Fitz. Look in their eyes. The look in their eyes. Yeah. Exactly. The next ones, I think I might shimmy this over, and then I want to put this one on display, so I think I'll put it up here. I have my paperback copy as well, and then let's do some hardbacks. My Illumicrate version of Babel, or Babel. This one I got at a like half off books or something like that, and it's like a special edition. Haven't read it yet, but plan to soon. I have The Will of the Many with the original copy, or the original cover. To be honest, not a fan of the new deluxe edition. Definitely not a fan of the piss yellow sprayed edges. Whose idea that was, couldn't tell you. I don't also know, like, I know that the new cover is very beige, but like, who in the room was like, yeah, piss yellow, that's the one we're voting for. Like, just keep them normal at that point. I hope that somebody ends up doing like a redesign of these covers to match this original one, because I really like the simplicity of this so much better. Whose idea it was to redesign it, please drop that information below, because I'd like to have a word. Julie. The Art of Prophecy, one of my favorite artists, Tran Nguyen, did the cover, or is it Jen? I think you pronounce it the same way you pronounce the last name. So Jen Nguyen was the one who did the cover for this one, and she has done a bunch of other covers recently within like the fantasy genre. She's one of my favorite artists ever. She uses pencil as her medium, and she really makes me want to get back to the drawing board, literally. So, stunning that is. Let's do that. And then this is my Fox and Wit edition of Fable. This is the one that I ended up annotating, and I really like the artist who did this one. And then my 12 paperbacks. My lone Brandon Sanderson book. I'm going to give him another go sometime next year, but honestly, the read-along that I did with Steph for the Witchwood Apothecary took something out of me. Truly. Took something right out of me. And then I also have this indie edition of Olivia Blake's The Atlas Six. I think it's like a cool thing to have, and I also like the art design, but I kind of read half of the book and then stopped for some reason. I think I was reading this while I was traveling, and then I just never picked it up, but like, because I've highlighted and written in it, I don't think that I should sell it, so I'm just keeping that copy there. And then I think The Rise of Kyoshi is adult, but we're gonna just leave that there. Or maybe, yeah, I'm putting it over here in this corner. And then other paperback. And this big stack here. And then my Robin Hood. So I just scoot it over and put it right here. Yeah, I guess so. That's what we're doing. Very sad that it can't be with its brethren, but this is where it's gonna go now. Okay, and here is a wide shot of my bookshelves. I think it looks so nice, and I really like my monstera right there next to the Sword of Kaigen. So let's get a closer look. Adult fantasy, YA. Oh, I also didn't show this Illumicrate edition of Sitting and Drowning. I really like it without the dust jacket. My fan row, fantasy, and then my section of want to reads. Then my miscellaneous, I put a snake plant in the middle. I think that's really cute. And then my broken binding editions. So that's what it all looks like with all the little knickknacks. Look at how cute my Gojo is up there. Hello. My little mofo sand. My Howl's Moving Castle mug. My little reader blind box. This one is like a gardening reader, and she had a little watering can, but it fell out and I don't know where it is, and that's so sad. It didn't fall out as I was organizing, it fell out like a while ago, but there she is without her little watering can. And then this one I got in Japan. How cute is that? Little teacup panda. And then my friend got me this one. It's like sticky rice in a banana leaf, and it's adorable. Then I have my Swiss cheese plant up there, my monstera, and then my two other plants there. And yeah, that is the shelves completed. And I think we did a good job. The one thing that I didn't put on here is manga, the manga ones that I have here. But I think what I'll do is maybe put it on this side table thing that I have. But yeah, that is the shelves complete. Alright, so that is my completed reorganization, cleaning, and everything of my bookshelves. I really like this, and like this in the back, my prized possession is my monstera that I propagated and repotted into this beautiful pot here. The only other thing that I have in mind for my shelves is that I want to do like a dry clay garland, where I think I'm going to do star shapes so that it's not too holiday based, and then I can keep it up throughout the year, because I really did like the look of the Halloween garland that I had on here. It like really gave some depth to my bookshelves. So what I'll do is probably do another video where I show the process of me doing the dry clay and stringing it along and then putting it on my bookshelves. But yeah, that is it for everything that we did today. Thank you so much for coming along with me and watching me clean, reorganize, and yap about random things, honestly, and about the books on my shelves. If there are any questions that you have about my bookshelf setup, I will put the shelves and the brackets, if they're still available, under my description. And any other things that I chatted about, I think Freedom is a Constant Struggle, the ebook for that one, I will also put a link under there. I really highly encourage you to read it and also pick up the audiobook, because I think the narration of it was very well done. Other than that, if you've made it this far and you've just watched me dilly and dally all day today, put a book stack emoji, and I think I'll find a plant emoji, because I think I really really enjoy the look of this plant here. But other than that, thank you so much for coming along and keeping me company while I reorganized today. I really appreciated it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!